Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
Slay the night with best dressed Halloween costumes. From a little scary to way trendy to coordinated looks with your squad, Walmart's got you covered. Find the costumes you love right here at Walmart.
Part of the bed of my truck was blocking one of the neighbor's driveway, and he said she was on vacation, so it wouldn't be a problem. She saw it on
I don't know if I would take that as gospel.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that wasn't the case, right?
Yeah, she saw it on the Ring camera, and
How do you know she saw it on the Ring camera?
Because that's what she told my friend.
That she was on vacation, but she saw it on the Ring camera and called.
Yeah, she didn't know that I was the friend.
Right.
This is the plaintiff, Samuel Siafi. He says the defendant towed his pickup truck and he improperly hooked it up and damaged it. That's right, he improperly dragged it out of its spot. The louse refuses to take responsibility because he's a terrible businessman and he's here suing him for the $1,471.63 he's owed. This is the defendant, Rance Smith. He says the guy parked his truck in front of some lady's driveway. She called the cops and the tow was authorized. He flatbedded the plaintiff's truck. The guy came to retrieve it, inspected it, and drove off. Later that day, the plaintiff calls to complain he has 2 flat tires. And now that's his fault? He's accused of a terrible tow.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Kiaffi, tell me what happened.
Hey, how you doing, Your Honor? So I was out in Long Beach one night, and I parked my car in front of my friend's house. Well, he told me it was his house, his dad's house, and accidentally a part of the bed of my truck was blocking one of the neighbor's driveway, and he said she was on vacation, so it wouldn't be a problem. She saw it on the.
I don't know if I would take that as gospel. Because it turns out that wasn't the case, right?
Yeah, she saw it on the Ring camera, and
How do you know she saw it on the Ring camera?
Because that's what she told my friend. That
she was on vacation, but she saw it on the Ring camera and called.
Yeah, she didn't know that I was the friend.
Right. So she probably is sick and tired of people blocking her driveway. All right. So she actually told your friend, I'm really sorry, but I saw it on the Ring camera. And, okay. All right. So go on.
Yeah. So I showed up the next day and my car was gone. So I was trying to track it down and found out it was at it got towed by Blessed Towing, and they were closed on Sunday. So I went over the next day on Monday, and then I showed up and I got in the car, started driving it. It was fine, and then I took a right, and I heard like a grinding noise. So I pulled over, got out, and saw it, and the 2 tires on the passenger side were flat. And then the whole
Were they flat when you picked up the car?
So I got on the driver's side, and I just pulled out, and then...
Right, but I've driven on flat tires. I know how it feels. Have you ever driven on a flat tire? Do you know how it feels? Well, you eventually knew how it felt. So were they flat when you first drove off?
Yeah.
Then how could you keep driving? How far did you drive?
Like less than a block, like about a block.
When did you call them and say something?
About an hour after.
So what'd you do between a block, which takes 10 seconds? You didn't walk back and say, hey, my car is down the block.
Yeah, it was just a lot. So when I got there, the guy opened the lot. Not him, I guess his employee, opened the lot, gave me the keys. I got in and drove, and then he drove off, and then he locked the gate, drove off, and then I started driving. And then there was another mechanic shop, Puma's, who saw me outside with the flat tires, and then they offered to help me.
So what did they do?
So they filled it as much as they could. They put the car in like this little little truck thing. It wasn't like a pickup, like a tow truck, but like this little like forklift, and drove it a little bit more up the block to their shop.
And what did they do?
They just filled it as much as they could, and they saw that the air was coming out of the side of the tire, so they said it must have been the way it was clamped. And then they filled it with enough air that I was able to get to Mavis Tire, which was like another 2 blocks away, and then I got new tires.
And you bought new tires. So you're suing them for the 2 new tires that you paid for. What's $255, the cost of labor to put the tires on?
No, so that was when I was driving it after, there was like a rattling underneath the car.
What year car is this?
2014.
What is it?
A Toyota Tacoma.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, so I heard like a rattling underneath, and then I brought it to a mechanic nearby, and he looked underneath, he lifted it and said that like there's plates under, like heat plates that keep the car cool. He said those like came undone, like the screws came out.
Okay, and what evidence do you have that the tow did any of this? Because you said something about, oh, they must have clamped the tire the wrong way. I'm not even sure what you're talking about, because I don't think they drag them by the tires, but who told you that phrase, and is that in writing anywhere?
No, I don't have it in writing from Puma's, but the video that I have, it shows that the air coming out of the side of the tire. So the way, like, I couldn't have drove over something because that wouldn't have put, holes in the sides of the tires.
How old are the tires?
About 6 months old.
Do you have a receipt for them showing they're 6 months old?
No, I don't.
Let me hear from you, Mr. Smith.
How you doing, Judge? My driver was the one who released the car. When you get your car released, you have to sign a document stating that your car is intact.
Do you have that
everything.
document?
No, but he signed it. He should have
Yeah,
it
but
released for him.
no. What do you think you have the guy sign it for?
No,
What do you think
you're
is the
right.
purpose of signing it?
Correct.
It's to be able to show that he agreed that everything was fine.
Correct.
So what do you do with the paper afterwards? Use it as a doily for your beer? I mean, where is the paper if it's not in your possession?
He pulled away from the yard, and he said that it was the passenger side, which it was the driver's side, 2 tires, because he sent me a video right after it, that when it was at Puma's, that they picked it up on some truck or forklift, as he say.
Do you have that video?
No, he just sent, no, I don't have the video.
Do you have that video?
Yeah.
Can I see that? Did you submit it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's the passenger side.
Had you told him it was the 2 front tires?
No, it was the
Well,
two.
then if it's a 2 passenger side tires, how would it have anything to do with your theory of how they towed it by the 2 front tires?
No, the way they clamped it onto the flatbed.
But they don't clamp. Where do you think that they clamp 4 tires? If it's the back tire, according to you, there's a bunch of construction going on around there?
At the time they was just repaving the road because they just took all the blacktop off of the road. And if you drive out of my yard, which is a 17,000 square yard, you pull out, you'll know if you got 2 flat tires, 2.
Well, anybody would know, I think, if they got 2 flat tires.
Mm-hmm. And they was on the same side. It was a front and a back tire.
Okay.
And you don't even hook up to the tires. I'm a tow truck company. You hook up to clamps that's under the car. It's clamps that the hooks go into, which is one on the left side front and the right side front. And then you got 2 on the back, which is on the subframe of the car.
And then what?
That's it. It's only 4 chains that go on it. Don't
Right,
nothing go on the tires.
How was this tow conducted? What kind of tow was it?
Flatbed tow, which is I disconnect the linkage so the car will roll freely anyway.
So he's showing that the bubbling is on the side of the tire. How does one get that?
Your guess good as mine.
I don't know. I've had that. That's why I'm kind of wondering. How did I get that?
We drag the car goes straight up, which it goes on 4 skates. Skates go under the 2 front tires, skates go under the 2 back tires. As the car's going up, it's rolling freely anyway because we disconnect the linkage to push it back up the truck.
What do you mean it's rolling freely? Tell me how you tow.
Basically, the car was in front of a driveway, and he said just a little bit. It was blocking the
I know
driveway.
why you towed. He knows why you towed.
It was
what I
blocking
mean
the
is
driveway.
physically how this tow. Do you have the paperwork from this tow?
No.
Why not?
I didn't bring anything.
Why don't you bring anything?
Sorry.
Have you ever watched me?
Yes.
Well, you knew I was going to say something about the fact that you didn't bring any paperwork. Do you have the paperwork from the tow?
No, I didn't get any paperwork from them. I just have.
Even after you picked up?
No.
Because there's something you signed. Don't talk to him direct. Boy, you got all kinds of demands for a guy who came with his empty pockets to court. Okay. Do you have any of the paperwork from the day? Because they always make you sign something.
Yeah, I didn't sign anything.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did. But I'm truly trying to understand, and neither one of you giving me paperwork about the tow is it's fascinating to me. How this tow, because there's other, do you only flatbed or do you also do the other type of tow?
Yeah, we do wheels.
So what's the other type of tow? Tell me about that.
The only type of tow you'd have had to do with that, you'd have had to use dollies, which it hooks up to the, it's called a self-loader, which you pick up the front, then you put dollies on the back. But we didn't go with that truck. We basically went with the flatbed.
How do I know? Why don't you show me the paperwork and then I'll know, right?
True.
Right. Well, how do you come in here empty-handed without the
Actually rushing out this morning.
Rushing out this morning?
Yeah.
Did someone call you this morning and say, hey, how would you like to be on People's Court?
No.
No, right? Okay, so there's no reason to rush out this morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the other type of tow, the dolly tow you were just talking about. How does that work?
You pick the front of the car up and then you
How do you pick the front of the car?
It comes with, it's like forks that go under it.
Right.
And it goes around the tires and then you pick it up.
Right.
And then you put dollies on the back and then it just rolls freely.
So it rolls free. It rolls on the dot. When you say rolls freely, the car's not rolling. The car is able to motor because you've got it on a dolly.
Yes, I have it on dollies. I go on the back. And
okay.
on the
And when those bars go up, they go up around the tire. They lift it from the tire.
Yes, correct.
But they lift the two front tires.
Correct.
Not the two back tires.
No.
And what he had holes on were the two left tires.
Correct.
So you have a video of one of the tires. I can't tell which of the tires it is from the video, obviously. Where's the video of the other tire? Because you said you received video showing it was the two passenger side tire.
He showed me.
Was that on a video that he showed? Do you have other videos besides this one?
He sent me a picture.
Yeah, let me see them from your phone a second.
And that's after we try to fill it.
Do you have a bubble video of the other tire or no?
No.
Why not? Was that one not on the side? That one was on the bottom?
No, I don't know why I just took the one. This was the one I had the video of the bubble.
So here we are in court. You're suing for $1,500. You're suing the tow company. You want $500 for your inconvenience, $255, which was the labor to put on the tires, $416 for new tires, and you want the tow fee of $300 given back to you.
Yeah.
Can you explain why you are here suing for $1,500?
Yeah, so the fee for the tow, I mean, if I got my car towed and I have to pay, that's one thing, but, if you go to pick up your car and it's damaged or something's wrong with it, I don't see why I have to pay you $300 because, the service you provided, even if it was just towing my car.
Okay.
And then the $500, I wasn't driving my car for a couple days because of that rattling sound, and I just couldn't go to work. And
what was the day of the tow?
A Saturday.
Do you remember the day of the tow?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Why don't we just look at the paperwork?
Yeah. It was a Saturday.
What was the day of the tow, gentlemen? Nobody knows?
I think it was August 24th.
Oh, you still don't know. How about you? You know? No. Yeah. You could figure it out, Judge.
Slay the night with best dressed Halloween costumes. From a little scary to way trendy to coordinated looks with your squad, Walmart's got you covered. Find the costumes you love right here at Walmart.
Listen in. Starbucks. It's a great day for coffee.
So I know that he has the Mavis receipt for the tires on August 22nd. I know.
I haven't.
Are we talking about this year?
Yeah.
August 22 was a Monday, not a Saturday this year.
Yeah, but they were closed on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So you would have picked it up on a Monday? Does that make sense that you're closed on Sunday? Mr. Smith, join me.
No, I'm open every day, but I just found the pictures right here.
Can I see your phone? Are you guys open on the Sunday?
I'm open every day.
And yet you're blessed towing.
Yes.
Okay, so the pictures were sent on the 22nd of August. Did you actually do the tow, or are you the owner?
I'm the owner, but it was me and I went with my driver.
Okay.
But the way the car, it was a corner house, and it was just so simple. You pull the flatbed forward, you back right to it, so you don't drag the car. You disconnect the linkage under it.
How do you disconnect the linkage under it?
It's a button that you just pull down, and it pops forward, and the car rolls freely. When you get the car back, you put the clip right back in the same place, and it's just like nothing ever happened.
See, I don't know if they damaged your car, and the problem with that is that you're the guy with the burden of proof when you come to court as the plaintiff, so you're the one who's going to have to prove to me that they damaged your car. You know, I hear what you're saying. Oh, Judge, I only drove a few blocks. I mean, it had to have been them, but it could have been something else. You know, it might not have been them. And I've got you, although he doesn't have the paperwork here that you signed, I know how all these places work. And plus, you left the property, so I'm sure you looked at it before you left. If you saw you're not going to drive on 2 busted tires. So it makes it harder for you to prove your case, but not impossible. If you had something from your mechanics that said it's the tow that did it, and this is how the tow did it, but neither one of your mechanics say anything about that. It makes it very, very difficult for you to recover against them after you've driven off the property, especially, and driven a few blocks in an area where there's construction. I don't know how your tires got busted. I know nobody's ever happy when they're towed. And I don't know how your tires got busted, but that's the problem for you. For you to win this case, I have to find that it is more likely than not something they did. So you got to give me something that links it to them. You're telling me, oh, they told me it's the way, you know, no, that's kind of here's, you know, you got to be able to prove up your case by something from the mechanic who says, I've seen this before, this is how, you know, whatever, something that pins it on them.
Yeah, so like even if it wasn't the way they clamped it, because I wasn't there, I don't have proof with the way, but even if it's in their lot and it's locked in their lot, and just the way they put it down,
Maybe,
the tires.
if that's how it happened. But here's the problem. I'm going to tell you the sum total of your evidence against them. Your evidence is this: a piece of paper that shows what you paid for the tires, which, of course, you're going to give me that. I understand. Yeah. But it doesn't say anything about the damage to the tires. And this fellow, which is on the 29th, saying full diagnostic. And the 29th is a week later. Full diagnostic, remove and replace damaged covers in bottom of the car. What the heck's that? That's like something my mother and I would say. Like, what's that? Doesn't sound like a full diagnostic of the car. Use some car terminology when you're there. What did he say this was? Covers on the bottom. What did he say that was?
Yeah, he said it was the heat plates underneath that came loose from, I guess the way they brought it up was rough and it...
Or is it maybe that you hit something and that needed to be replaced, remove and replace damaged covers? I don't know. See? Yeah. But the fact that I don't know does not inure to your benefit. It inures to his benefit. So my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So let's talk to the plaintiff, Mr. Siafi, see how he has responded to the judge's verdict. What do you think, Mr. Siafi?
Yeah, I don't think the judge chose the right verdict. Yeah, the other guy... The other guy showed up with
You had no evidence for her. You didn't give her anything to prove your point. Don't you understand that?
Yeah, but if you have receipts the same day of the tow you picked it up and the tires are flat minutes after you got out of from picking up your towed car and the tires are flat, it kind of, you know, does that not make sense?
I'm sorry for you, but that's the judge's decision. You brought no evidence to court and that kind of, you're sunk. I'm sorry. Okay? Better luck next time. All right, now let's see what the defendant, Mr. Smith, has to say. He didn't bring any evidence into the courtroom either. Mr. Smith, you're lucky. Don't you think so?
Yes, because if you had 2 flat tires, you would have known upon driving right out of the yard that you had 2 flat tires. You wouldn't have known blocks away.
So were you surprised to get sued by him?
Yes.
Have you ever been sued before?
No, sir.
All right. Well, listen, at least you said you've watched the People's Court. You know people bring evidence into the courtroom with them. You've learned something from this case, then, I presume, right?
I'll be better off next time.
Yeah. Let's hope there's not a next time for you, all right? Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Harvey, what do you think?
Doug, look, I mean, this is a case where the plaintiff should have brought in a mechanic. This is beyond his capacity to understand exactly what happened here. A mechanic is necessary because a mechanic is an expert. The judge is not a mechanic, so the judge can't take that kind of a leap. Plaintiff didn't bring the mechanic in. That's why the plaintiff lost.
Do you wait until your gas tank is almost empty before you fill up? Have you ever run out of gas?
I'm one of those guys who believes that the E stands for enough on the gas tank, and I am guilty of driving it down to like fumes, but I never run out of gas.
No.
Never.
I run out of gas.
You do.
With
every now
regularity.
And then. Yeah.
With an alarming, it's been a while, but an alarming regularity.
It's probably been 3 or 4 years, but you've
It's
done
been
it.
more than that.
Maybe
but,
more, right.
But there was a time when I ran out of gas twice in 2 weeks.
Right. I bailed you out probably.
You've bailed me out. My dad's bailed me. It's like, it shouldn't happen. I probably run out of gas 4 times in my life.
Well, now a lot of cars.
But twice in 2 weeks was really bad.
Right. A lot of cars now have that range computer on it where you can get it to tell you how many miles to an empty
Yeah, but the range
tank.
computer doesn't work on you because the range computer is like when I tell you be ready at 7 and you just assume I'm lying. Right. And so you assume the range computer's lying.
Well, I assume there's more. And the worst is about 3 or 4 months ago, I was driving from our house in North Carolina down to Charlotte Airport with my brother. And he's driving a rental car. And we leave the house, and I said, you're going to have to fill the tank. It says that your range is 90 miles on your dashboard. And he said, yeah, how far is the trip? I said, 110. He goes, I think I can make up a little bit of that on the highway. It'll drop down, and those numbers will get closer together.
He refused to stop
And I
for
go, well,
gas.
why won't you stop? And he said, because I paid for the full tank
he prepaid
at Hertz
for the
or Avis, wherever he rented it, so he could get a discount, right? You got 10 cents a gallon less. Or he goes, I'm going to run it on down to nothing. I said, you're nuts. So you can't play around like this. He goes, don't worry about it. So we're a few miles from the airport, and it drops from 5 miles to 4 miles. And then I said, Joel, we're getting a little too close. Don't you think maybe you should get gas? He goes, well, no, because when it says 5 miles, that's really 5.99 miles.
Jeez.
Because it just dropped down from the 6. We got to the airport, and the thing was sputtering going up the ramp to the rental car drop-off at Charlotte Airport, and it made it to the spot. And my brother gets out, and the key leaves the key in there and says to the guy, you might want to put a little gas in it. It's kind of there. Never seen anything like it. That car was running on fumes only. It had said 0 miles for
he got his
3
money's
or 4
worth.
miles away from the airport. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Close your eyes and take a ride with new Tic Tac Citrus Adventure. Awaken your senses with harmonies of sour and tangy fruit flavors. Picture the vibrant trio of mandarin, lemon, and lime as each flavor mingles to create a refreshing symphony. Pick up a pack and dive into new Tic Tac Citrus Adventure. Visit @TicTacUSA on social to share the good vibes.
This is the plaintiff, Gregory James Priest. He says he purchased a PlayStation 5 from the defendant's sneaker store. And turns out the console he purchased from the guy was reported as stolen. When he went back to the store to return it, the defendant told him he doesn't give refunds. Huh? He has no other choice but to deal with this unprofessional businessman in court and is suing him for the return of his $992.25. This is the defendant, Jibuki Okwara. He says he manages a sneaker resale store, and he also resells PlayStations. He sold 100 PlayStations last Christmas season. He has no idea what the problem was with the plaintiffs, but he said he would replace it with another one. The plaintiff never showed up to get the new console, then just abruptly turned around and sued him in court. He's accused of selling hot merchandise.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought a PlayStation 5 from the defendant, says the thing is a piece of junk, it's broken, so he wants a refund. Now, the defendant says he's happy to replace the PlayStation with another one, but he does not give refunds. It's the case of PlayStation without the play.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Priest, you are suing Mr. Akwara for $992.25, the cost of a PlayStation that you bought from him that apparently you're having problems with. What seems to be the problem?
Well, I bought the station for my son, Nico. And
when did you buy it?
The 21st of December.
Okay.
And how I seen that is that on the 17th of December, Nico and I went in there to purchase a pair of shoes for his birthday, which is on the 20th of
And
December.
how old is Nico?
He turned 18.
Okay.
So I got the game. I got the game and I brought it home.
Were you buying a new PlayStation?
Brand new in the box.
With shrink wrap and everything?
Everything.
At a sneaker store?
Yes, he had it on display. He had a box on display.
That wasn't suspect to you in any way?
No, it wasn't. The reason why it wasn't is because this was at a mall in a storefront.
Okay.
So I trusted that, this is, you know what I mean? This is
so open and notorious that you didn't think there'd be a problem. But then was there a problem?
Absolutely. Nico hooked up his game. I don't know too much about these games. So I guess there's a procedure to hooking them up, putting them online, yada, 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 yada. I don't know nothing about that. So he did that and started to play it. And I'm out and about. And I get a call from Nico. And he says that the game system shut down. And I said, well, is it the internet? Yeah, And of course, he's 18. And I tried all that, and their attitude. I did all that.
Well, it's not just their attitude; they're also right because they know to have checked the internet. So, but because they live on the internet. But go ahead.
So then he said that I think that's his part, but he said he went on Sony.com/chat to inquire about the system. Because why is it shutting down? And that's when he told me, he said that they said that it was reported missing.
Who's they?
Or stolen.
Who's they?
Sony.com/chat.
Okay. All right. So what happens? You call the defendant or you go to see the defendant and what happens?
Okay, I call him and I tell him what happened. And he says to me, or whoever's on the phone says there's no refund. So a couple of days later, I go up there and I talk to them. And I said, man, look, I said, this is not a pair of sneakers. It's not like I buy sneakers and they're the wrong size. I said, this is a product that you sold me that does not work. And he said, hey, there's no refunds.
Who said that?
I believe it was this guy or one of his clerks.
Okay, you don't know. All right, and then what happens?
Okay. So then I take it and I drop it off at the store.
How do you drop it off at the store?
I take it to the clerk, and me and the clerk are talking. Now, I wanna reiterate how many phone calls I have made to these people regarding this game. I have made numerous. So when I take it to them, and the kid and the young guy at the clerk, he says, "Oh, we're going to get you another one." I said, "Okay." I said, "Man, I'm just letting you know, I'm not going to just let you guys."
Okay. Well, that fellow who said that, do you know his name?
I do not.
Okay. So you leave the machine with him. He accepts it. He says, "We're going to get you another one." And what happens?
I go home and I wait. I wait about 5 days, and it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday because I go up there, and this young man is there who goes by the name Boo. He's there. So I'm talking to him, and I can't really recognize him or whatever. And I said, I bought this game from Boo, and he said, I'm Boo. And I said, and I brought it back, and he said, you brought it back? I said, yes, I brought it back, and I gave it to your clerk, and he said, I'm going to get you another game. I said, really, sir? I said, honestly, I don't really want another game from you. I really don't, because now I don't trust, because it's been this long. It's been over 3 weeks. So now I really don't. I just want my money back. But then I'm like, okay, if you guys are legit and this is just a bad one, just give me another game just so we can be done with it.
And?
Nothing. Nothing.
What does nothing mean? They never say, here's your game?
They never give me nothing.
All right, did you call them and say, where's my game, you said? Yeah.
I call them, I do everything. So then I say, okay, I call the mall, I let the mall know what happened. And then I go across the street where the sheriff department is, and I tell the sheriff department what happened. They said, well, this is a civil thing, and they give me, and they you know.
Okay, so Mr. Aquara, what's going on? Why is a sneaker store selling PlayStations?
All right, let me explain how my business works. Number one, we're in a resale business. So basically how it goes is we get people bring us items and we resell them. So PlayStations are items that you have to win a raffle to purchase it at retail. None of the items in my store I purchased at retail. All my items are purchased at resale. The sneaker business and
I don't understand what you're saying, so I need to ask some questions. How did you get the PlayStations?
How did I get the PlayStation? People sell me PlayStations. I bought over 200 to 300 PlayStations during the Christmas holiday season.
Who are the people who sell you PlayStations? Individual people?
Yeah, people that want them raffle. People who win them, they want them.
So every
at Best
PlayStation
Buy,
you got your
Walmart.
hands on was won by somebody in a raffle?
Yeah, they want.
And then what do you pay for the PlayStation?
It depends on what the person wants to sell it for. Everybody has their own price.
So you pay different amounts of money for the PlayStation, and then you sell it.
All my items.
And then you sell it for the same thing Best Buy or any other electronic store sells it for.
No, people who are lucky enough to win a raffle to purchase an item at retail.
So you got 200 to 300 people who won a raffle. How do you know that they won a raffle?
Because how else would they get these items? How else can they procure these items?
Did they fall off a truck?
No, because it's different people.
Because it kind of sounded like it fell off a truck.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean by fell off a truck, right? You know what that means. Right.
No, I don't engage in that type of business.
So tell me this: the guy gives you the machine back, and he is told that you will get him a new one, and he says you never did. So now he wants his money back.
Okay, let's go to that part. So number one, this is the second time I'm seeing said gentleman. I haven't seen said gentleman since the day that I sold him said item. I hire a lot of kids, so I have maybe 30, 16 to 18-year-olds that work for me between both of my locations. So the PlayStations were sold at 2 different locations. Nobody complained. So it's like, if I'm selling 200 PlayStation and one is bad, that's like an anomaly. Because at first I'm like, okay, the man may be trying something, because for one, everything was wrapped and sealed, and I had receipts, and all my PlayStations were marked. Because I've been in the business where, for example, someone will buy a shoe from me and claim that I sold them a fake item. But a lot of people don't know that I put different markings in all my items. That's number one. So I know which ones are my items. This time, you
could write the serial number down too.
I could write serial numbers down and all that stuff. But I've never had complaints because I've been in business for 5, 6 years.
Okay, but let's talk about this case. What are we going to do in this case? According to him, your employee, who's your agent, took it back, and you're supposed to get him another PlayStation. What happened with that?
Okay. So from what I've told, being one of the store managers, what I was told was, okay, they contacted said gentleman. I didn't even go through the research to make sure that the item that he brought me back was said item that he gotten. So I was just, all right, whatever. I'm not about to trip over the money or whatever. But then I noticed then when they said that, okay, they contacted the gentleman because a new PlayStation was bought. The gentleman stopped, according to my store manager at the store, he said the gentleman was not answering his phone. The new PlayStation sat at the store the whole month of January. So I'm like, okay, maybe said gentleman doesn't want PlayStation. So I start being a little suspicious. So then I said, let me look at the PlayStation the gentleman brought me back. Then I'm like, oh, this is not the item I sold him anyway.
How do you know?
I realized, because my items are all marked.
Marked how?
I mark them in a certain way, man. But I know all my items.
But why if that's the case, and the reason why do you mark them?
Huh? Why do I mark it? Because for situations like this.
Right. So then wouldn't your 30 children that you hire to work at both of these places, wouldn't they know to look for the marking before they accept the machine back?
They don't know those type of things. They don't know those type of things.
Or if you had sold them the PlayStation with a serial number, you could easily see whether it was the same PlayStation, right? Rather than me trusting you that it's not the same one. I got to trust you, right? That you weren't tripping over it, but then when you looked at it, trust me, Judge, it wasn't marked where I marked it.
Your Honor, look. Everyone knows that I'm honorable. I do find the community. I do good work. This, that, and the third.
Do you have any evidence of having contacted him in order to return, to give him the new PlayStation? Do you have any phone records?
I have to check the phone records.
Oh, we're in trial now. All right, so here we are. You admit that someone on your behalf took back the PlayStation. You say that later on you checked it and it didn't have the same marking. You're accusing Mr. Priest of bringing you a different PlayStation, not the one you sold him. Mr. Priest, do you use a PlayStation?
I do not.
Right. Mr. Priest is just going by what his 18-year-old told him. Hey, Dad, it was working fine, and then it stopped working. And I hear that that's because it's stolen. And he doesn't also, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, he doesn't bring me evidence of anything from Sony saying that. But we know you took the machine back and you're supposed to give him a new one. Your answer is he never came to get it in January, so now I keep the machine and his money. And his answer is, what, are you kidding me? Not only you didn't give me another machine, I've had to go to court and sue you to get my money back because I didn't get a machine or my money.
He can have that machine back.
He doesn't want it.
Sitting in my store.
No, he doesn't want it because it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm going to order you to return the guy's money because you can have a policy of no refunds, and that's fine. Actually, you don't even have that policy because I've looked at your website. No, your website says in the first, is it 30 days it says? What does it say?
You say you have a 7-day refund policy.
7-day refund policy. You have a refund policy. But the issue is it's 7 days from the day that it stops working, which he did bring it to you within 7 days. No, it's not. It worked fine when the son first used it. It's that something happened, and I'll be honest with you. I've been around the block a few times. Yeah. And when something happens afterwards, it's that the media company shuts it off. It is. So, but in any event, we're not going to go there. You have his PlayStation. I'm sure that you can resell it because there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not going to buy after you've accepted it. I know, lady, there's a mark on it, and the mark's not there. You don't have any evidence of that. I'm going to order you to pay him back the money he paid you, which is $992.25. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Stick around after the break. Doug's going to be in the hallway with the litigants, and Judge Millian is going to be in chambers with her husband, John, answering your questions.
Having a dispute with your ex? Contact us at peoplescourt.com and hit submit your case.